And 2025 has been an outstanding year if you've been eating lunch. Genuinely,
What an amazing thing to say.
it has been.
2025 has been a great year for lunch. Good to go?
I'm always ready. When Richie Firth is looking at me, I'm feeling pumped and ready.
Well, let's have our review of the year. Welcome to Mildly Informed, a podcast with me, Richie Firth, and him, Chris Skinner. But this is our final one of 2025. And so as to inform you about the year, we thought we would review it. Normally, it's a chance to talk about our weeks, what we've seen, what we've reacted to, and what you need to know. Mildly informed. But today, it's the year. Chris, how's your year been?
That's a very great question, Rich. On a personal level, I've had a really good time. It doesn't mean I don't have a slight anxiety that everything around us is burning, but that's fine. I'm all right, Jack. What about yourself? Would you say similar vibes?
I'd say similar vibes. I'd go a little bit more positive and say I think it's always been burning. Just different flames, different fires. So let's just crack
I buy
on.
that point. I think if we were doing the mildly informed town hall announcement from 1437, I think we'd be ringing the bells saying the world is burning, bring out your dead.
Exactly. But today is a chance to look back at Mildly Informed in 2025. A lot of people do the whole sort of like wrapped format, kind of Spotify really started that, I suppose. Do we have any wrapped stats for Mildly Informed?
I can tell you what our most popular social clips were this year, and I do think they give a slightly damning insight into not just us, but our audience. So should we start there?
Let's do that.
By some margin, and we are talking like across platforms, 1 million views. Our most popular clip was you and me talking about how busy every drivers are. As you revealed the statistics as to, the much maligned every driver, you revealed how hard they are worked. And holy moly, did they engage with that content. It was thousands and thousands of comments going, yeah, I do 150 parcels a day. What about it?
I think that still remains really topical, despite the fact we're in the last week of 2025, in that obviously there's all sorts of deliveries with online shopping in the run up to Christmas. And I've seen so many articles about like the standard of every deliveries. I've just had a Ring doorbell fitted, and some of the so some of the videos of these guys do not realise what a Ring doorbell is. Do you not realise that we can see the disdain and the way that you just sling it like a frisbee onto the doorstep with absolutely no recourse whatsoever? I can't believe it.
Well, I think that's because they get paid about 7p to do that. That's the problem, Rich.
Very, very good point.
If you want that absolutely beautiful drop-shipped thing that you just bought on social media delivered the next day, that's the price you're going to pay.
And that is exactly what happened.
Okay, food was a big part of our year. This will come as no surprise. Two of the biggest clips of the year were my fear that Starbar might come to an end and Cadbury might discontinue the greatest of all the chocolate bars. And also, last week, we went off on Bounty. I think you were very anti-Bounty. I was very pro-Bounty. And it appears that it is genuinely a wedge issue for our audience as well. It's a 52-48 subject. Like, they cannot agree on whether Bounty is good or bad. What they can agree on, though, is that it's important to have a view on this.
I think you made a parallel between Bounty and Farage, and I saw that got a lot of traction.
Look, as far as I am concerned, he drove the 52 of that wedge, and it was wrong. And frankly, I think we should embrace the Bounty. We should embrace it. And I'm reluctant to get too political on today's podcast. As much as you set up talking about Nigel Farage, and I'm just going to back away. I am going to do the news of the year in this Patreon episode, so maybe he'll come up then.
Oh, great! Yeah. Talk about the news in the episode that's paid for on the paid for platform to annoy at least half of the audience and
We don't
lose
shit this
them.
out. Just very quickly as well, 3 other quick things that got a lot of attention. We got a lot of hate for saying that we should split the Premier League up into League of 10.
Yes,
And right the way down the pyramid. Stand by it. We had a lengthy conversation about bins. I can't even remember what we said, but that seems to resonate. And the lengthy point you made about what the healthiest sport is to play.
And so much frustration with that because I think in the social clip, we never actually revealed what that sport was.
And now, Richie, you can reveal it. It is...
So let's look at the year 2025. And I want to talk, first of all, Chris, I want to talk about Oasis, but I want to talk about Britpop at large. I think for you and me, we talked about it at the time. This was our era. This was our music. And 30 years on, it was back in 2025. And we knew it was coming back, but we had no idea it was going to be as amazing as it turned out to be. And it's actually bigger than just Oasis. It's the fact that Pulp then also went on and did a new album.
Yep.
Pulp had an album that went to number one. Shed
It was
7.
a good album. Yeah.
It was a great album. Shed 7 had a fantastic album this year. I know they're a little bit late. No, it was a really good album. It was another one that got to number one. And this rebirth of Britpop following Oasis reforming and doing their live in 25 gigs, I think was the best thing of the year because certainly for you and for our age group, it was just something positive, a time in your lives where we're kind of like, we're at our busiest, we're supposedly at our peak, but there's signs of decay, certainly for some more than others, but yet we were allowed to relive the peak of our youth, if that makes any sense. And it was just one of the best moments. And in some cases, like imitation is the best form of flattery. If you look at what's coming up in the world of music next year, you've got Westlife doing gigs. You've got Take That doing a massive tour. You've got Boyzone doing a tour. You've got Five currently. Imitation is the highest form of flattery. And we've gone from Britpop this year to a completely different genre of music next year. But those boy bands almost looking at it and thinking, yeah, I'll have a piece of that.
Of all those boy bands, the ones I would most feel comfortable watching without wanting to tear my eyes out would be Five.
Yeah,
Everybody get up. That's a great song.
I'd say Keep On Moving was a fantastic pop song as well.
Also acceptable and better than anything Westlife ever did. Westlife were dross. I think, look, I don't want to be mean about Westlife. They were 4/5 really handsome guys, yeah, who could hold a note. And that, to be fair, is better than almost every band that has ever existed in the history of humanity, yeah? But their music was bilge. Utter bilge. I get why they were popular. I get it.
One of the things that I always felt about Westlife back in the day was that obviously they were primarily aimed at the girls, but to try and tag along a few of the lads, there was always this thing, oh, do you know that Nicky in Westlife was a goalkeeper for Leeds United?
Yeah,
Nicky in Westlife's really good at football, by the way. Oh, Nicky in Westlife, he could have made it for Leeds, but he decided to do this. And like, I've never seen any footage of Nicky in like a Leeds kit.
And frankly, if I had the choice of playing in goal, even for Leeds or being in Westlife, I know what my dream would have taken me to.
The irony is, if he'd ended up playing for Leeds, he probably wouldn't have ended up in playing in any of the Soccer Aid matches.
Oh, no. There was a guy in the Britpop era who was in a Britpop band and played for Nottingham Forest. Was it Scott McGregor? What was his name? Hang on, I'm going to have to Google this. Forest player, Britpop 90s.
Damon Albarn.
Paul McGregor.
Paul
was in a
McGregor.
band called Merck who was signed. I think they might have had a top 40 single. And I sadly think, I mean, here's an interesting thing. I don't think either the band made it, nor did he really get a long professional football career. But he did do both. He did get some, and I wonder if, shooting for 2 stars and coming so close to both, I still think that's time well spent.
I think Paul McGregor, if he found out that he's being mentioned in this episode of Mildly Informed, that's when he realises he has made it.
Paul, respect. After this show, I'm going to go and see if Merck are on Apple Music or Spotify, and we will rediscover it. Maybe you next year could be supporting the next reforming Britpop band.
The reformation and the rebirth of Oasis and Britpop for me is a 5-star element of 2025.
Rich, I am going to keep my reviews of 2025 a bit broader. Okay. I'm going to talk about my highlights across certain genres. I am going to start. I am looking at this thinking, which one should I start with? I'm actually going to start with sport.
Okay.
And I'm going to do a quick review of Chris Skinner's year in sport. This is not my own personal performances, although I will say I think I did take 1 3-wicket haul and scored 42 as my top score over the season. Not bad. Didn't really play any other sports.
They want you in Australia right now, if that's the case.
I mean, blooming hell, don't they? And we're coming to this. So sport is a thing that you and I like. Mm-hmm. Sport is a thing that much of our audience, I think, enjoys. Apologies if you're not really into sport. This won't last too long. Just stick with us for it. Professional sport has been largely under threat by, I think sport is fast becoming a bit ridiculous generally. I think it's become increasingly pantomime. The biggest football stars in the world are up to all kinds of nonsense. Boxing's gone. Mm-hmm. The game's gone. When you've got Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul as like the most talked about event in the year, it's like, come on, please. And I can't remember the last time I saw a boxing match and enjoyed it anyway.
You only need to look at what Sky Sports News is like these days to realise how gone sport is. Mm. It's a real shame as someone who loves sport.
So let's talk about some good stuff. The journey of Luke Littler. Luke Littler's rise at teenage wonder kid is great. Mm-hmm. He was super like a year ago when we all sat down to the World Darts. We're in the early stages of the World Darts this year, which is already proving to be quite exciting. Yeah. The growth of the sport globally. There have been wins for Indian and Kenyan players. It's like, it's increased. I mean, the guys who run darts should run the UK. Like, they know what they're doing.
Do you know what? My dad is, he's a retired accountant. And he once said to me that he would vote for Barry Hearn for Prime Minister because Barry Hearn, he said, was an accountant by trade. Mm. And Dad's like, he goes, what he has done for boxing and for snooker and for darts, he said he has taken those 3 kind of like pub back alley sports into these glitzy things. He's an accountant. He goes, honestly, he could run the country. I think that there is around me, there is a swelling of people that would love to see Barry Hearn or maybe his son Eddie now running the country.
Yeah, look, I don't know too much about their morals, but I know they'd get shit done.
It's but there we go.
And look, I think that this country needs a doer. And that's the news is coming later. Shush. Stop talking about this, Chris. So, Luke Littler, well done. I've enjoyed the progress of darts this year. Let's talk briefly about cricket. Obviously, right now, it is the most enormous shit show if you follow England. It's just utterly awful. When you see Ben Stokes and Jofra Archer rowing on the pitch, when you see just them incapable of scoring enough runs to even bat out a full day, it's horrible to watch. But in the summer, the England versus India series was enormously watchable.
Chris, I'm going to have to disagree with you.
Oh, God.
What you have just said shows my point of what's been going on, certainly with cricket. Bazball is a term that even if you don't know cricket, you'll have heard bandied around, this new brand of cricket that England are playing that is exciting and is going to win us the Ashes down under. This is what it was all about. And we have been groomed. We have been groomed to believe that Bazball is the answer. And I think that the scales have fallen from our eyes and we have seen quite how fraudulent and horseshit this whole Bazball thing is. Bazball is dead and we've all been suckered in by it, and I hate it. It makes me angry.
I don't agree at all. I actually don't have a problem with it, with playing aggressive cricket conceptually. That's not the problem. And again, I don't want to get too deep into sport here. The number one reason England are not as good in Australia when they play Australia is that cricket is a bigger sport in Australia. They have more players. They're on home territory. They're better. That's number one reason.
They are better, yes.
The second reason is that if you're going to beat the better team, you have to pick your best players. And England have failed to pick their best batters, their best pace bowlers, their best spin bowler, possibly even their best wicket keeper. They have put themselves in the worst possible position by not picking the best available players. And then they have prepared themselves for it terribly.
Yes.
So everything, it's Bazball for me, Rich, is a mask. It's a deflection. It just they're playing aggressive cricket. That's not a problem. England won the 2005 Ashes. That second test, they scored 400 runs in a day. That was very Bazballian. They won that series. Kevin Peterson was whacking sixes in that first test at Lord's, sent a statement down. It's a new branding for an old way to take on the Australians. You would argue that the Bodyline series was an example of early Bazball tactics, and England won that 100 years ago. So that's not the problem. The problem is everything else.
Fair.
But, so cricket's been largely... cricket's ruined itself. Cricket is a party that everyone turned up and everyone's like, oh, it's so good to see you. And then cricket got really drunk. And everyone's like, oh, God, can you go home now? Football has been almost entirely forgettable. It's been a dreadful year for football. Like, utterly. It's been It's been utter dross with two exceptions. In May, obviously, finally, great news. Tottenham won the Europa League, and that is what football really, really needed. It was so important, and it was one of the only good things that's really happened this year in men's football. And then the other good thing was on July, I think the 27th, England's women, as much as I'm not particularly into international football, won the Women's Euros, and I thought that was a joyous cultural moment. And for those two moments alone, I give sport 5 stars.
Oh, dear. I did not see that coming. I thought sport was having a horrific year. But
It's had a horrific year. But, sport is not about consistency. Sport is about glory.
And I'm sure that next year in 2026, with the FIFA World Cup taking place in North America, sport is going to possibly even get 6 stars. Sport can only, for me, score the highest or the lowest marks. There's no in between. Chris, can we talk about something that has saved me an incredible load of money this year? And I want to give a 5-star review. And that is electric cars.
Okay. I think we spoke about electric cars earlier in the year.
We did.
I literally cannot remember a single thing you said about them.
That is because cars is not your forte.
No.
You could not tell me the make of car that you drive yourself.
It's a French one.
There you go. Point made.
It's a white French car.
So I'm
Nissan?
No, that's Japanese. I'm fully expecting that you won't be able to remember a single thing that I said about electric cars because motoring is not in your wheelhouse. However, if I'm reviewing for me the big successes of the year, Britpop and Oasis was number one. Electric cars has to be on that list of three. This has been my first full year as an electric car driver, and I can give you some stats. I can give you some
Now I'm here.
stats.
I'm leaning in now.
Of course you are.
Get stats.
I have spent this year on putting electricity into my car. I have spent £337.
That's a lot less than you'd have spent on petrol unless you've not driven much.
If I had a petrol car and had done exactly the same amount of miles as I have done in my electric car, I would have spent on fuel £1,605. So my savings in motoring by having an electric car this year have been £1,268.
Question. Did you have to pay for like an electric plug thing to be fitted to your house to do the charging?
Answer correct. Yes.
How much did that cost?
I can find out for you because it's over a year ago now and I can't remember.
I guess you could consider that on a business level. That's a depreciating cost that you'd have over 5 years and shouldn't be a direct influence on the equation here.
Agreed. But I can give you a price,
Please.
and that was £477.
Okay, so you're still up. You're still up. That's
Yes.
good. So even when you factor that in over a 12-month period, you're still up.
Correct.
And again, I don't mean to be a pain in the arse here. For an equivalent model, how much more expensive is an electric car to a petrol or diesel car?
I don't have that fact to hand, but what I can tell you is that I'm not having to go and get the engine looked at and all that kind of thing. What I can tell you is that because I have an electric car and I am able to charge it at home, my electricity provider has put me on an incredibly cheap tariff between midnight and 7 in the morning, which is when I charge my car. Now, that also means that you could run your tumble dryer overnight. You could run your washing machine overnight. You could run your dishwasher overnight. And they may not be electric cars, but they are being used at the same rate. So I'm saving money on other things as well as that car. I don't see any negatives.
I think this is great. I'm a big fan of electric cars. I think personally, and this is ringing bells now, I don't think people should own cars. I think we should all have collective car ownership and use public transport. But aside from that, genuine question, is it possible that I'd save money by doing all my electric stuff at night? Is that everyone or is that just you? I know nothing about, Laura does the bills.
So you couldn't get the electric vehicle tariff.
Oh, so it's only because you have an electric vehicle that you get
without proving that you've got an electric car. So to sign up for that electric tariff, I had to give my registration plate.
Could I give your registration plate? Say we're having an affair. And when he crashes over for the night, he needs to get charging, so to speak.
That's my doc, Chris. A 5-star review for your money-making idea, money-saving idea. But for me, electric cars is 5-star, aside from the fact that it's even better for the environment.
I love it.
Chris, you told us about your year in sport. What else would you like to review the year in?
One more thing more important than sport to you and me, Rich. It's food.
I
want to talk to you about my year in doing the most important thing a human can do.
Eat.
And yeah, that does include, and I am not discounting, conversations with your family and loved ones, having a job, all those other things. It's eating. I'll start with breakfast. Breakfast, it's all right. I actually changed my breakfast. I had a smoothie every day for about a year or two.
That's a drink. That's not a food.
Yeah, but I basically put loads of food in it and then blended it. And I got rid of it and I replaced it with fruit and yogurt. It's all right, meh. I don't care. Dinner, I'm generally too busy these days to cook myself a nice dinner. So equally get meh. The thing that's really exciting to me, the thing that we talk about most on this show is the stuff you eat in the middle of the day. And that is essentially lunch and snacks. They are the two most important, powerful things in my life. And I don't think you're going to disagree with this. Lunch, I love lunch so much. I love getting out of the office. I love breaking from sitting at home and going and eating something truly quality. And 2025 has been an outstanding year if you've been eating lunch. Genuinely.
What an amazing thing to say. 2025 has been a great year for lunch.
It has. Lunch, I have to say, is it's brought its A game to the year. It is top tier meal grade stuff. We are talking patouche salads. We're talking kebabs for lunch, which I had earlier this week. I've had 2 banh mi's this week. Banh mi. Oh, Rich, when was the last time you had a banh mi?
I couldn't even tell you what a banh mi was.
It's like a Vietnamese baguette.
Definitely
like
not
a
had
Vietnamese
one.
spicy baguette. Oh, my God. We talked earlier in the year about the Indian wrap stall that I go to. What an absolute mega place that is. Even the chain game has done all right. Like, you know, there's a salad chain called Attis, £3 a salad too expensive when you go for a large, but still quality work there. You walk out the office, you walk for up to 10 minutes, you spend up to £10, you come back to the office, you nourish yourself, you're ready for the afternoon. It's your best meal of the day. Lunch, you absolute champion. Just, I cannot tell you how much you've helped me out this year. I love and respect you with all my heart. I cannot pick the best lunch I've had this year because I've had so many good ones. 5 stars.
So in your food review, just to be clear, and I'm not disputing this, I just want to make sure I've understood it properly.
Yep.
Your food review of the year,
Yep.
you have reviewed that in 2025, lunch has been 5 stars.
100%. Like, lunch has, it's shat all over breakfast and dinner. I haven't mentioned snacks yet, Rich. So just a quick aside for snacks, as they should be a quick aside. Snack game's been good this year. Chocolate, I think, has actually dipped a little bit. I think generally it's fair to say the quality of chocolate has been down. We ourselves have reported on the show once chocolates are now no longer allowed to call themselves chocolates. Since we did that on the show, the toffee crisp has joined that category. Not enough chocolate in a toffee crisp to call it that. Chocolate's had a bumpy road. It's still really good. Don't get me wrong. I like chocolate, but it's not really lived up to the standard. Fruit, I'm so sick of buying bruised fruit. Fruit has been a lower level. I'm pleased there's been an increased range of spicy snacks. They have really helped. The range of things you can get with chilies. I saw mushroom crisps this week.
Why do you think fruit has been more bruised in 2025? Do you think it's the increase in turbulence in flight?
I reckon every drivers have started driving for Ocado.
He's had enough of bruised fruit in 2025.
So, look, overall, though, so snacks have had a decent year, but not spectacular. Lunch is the true champion here.
Well, let's talk about lunch with the final thing that I want to talk about in 2025. My 3 big hitters have been Britpop and Oasis, electric cars, and the final one, Chris, it's the return of my meat probe. It has been my discovery of 2025.
The prodigal son returns.
It does, but it may not yet have had its final hour of 2025. What is the most stressful lunch, the most stressful meal that anyone cooks in any year?
A curry when the in-laws are over.
No, I am talking about the turkey for Christmas lunch. And I am going to stick my probe into that turkey, and I cannot wait to see how moist she is when I carve.
I really wish I hadn't been in that conversation as you said that.
Turkey's the most stressful meal to do. It's a big bird.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. There are people that get up at 3 a.m. to make sure the turkey's ready for the meal. I bet you have a dry old bird.
Me?
Yes.
I have only once had the privilege of cooking Christmas dinner once myself. I've done it. And I was so psyched for it. I was so pumped. and I just put it in the oven and cooked it, and then I took it out of the oven and we all ate it, and it was lovely.
Oh, come off it. No, that's not the case.
It is the
That's
case.
not the case.
I stuffed it with some onions and stuff just to keep it like feeling pretty cool. Don't know if that had much of an effect, but it seemed to really work. Did a lot of basting.
Yeah, basting would be key. Let me just remind you.
Drank.
Let me just remind you. This meat probe, if you're not aware of what it is a probe that has got Bluetooth inside it, which then sends signals back to my phone from the oven from deep inside said joint of meat or bird, so that I know exactly what the temperature is inside of the bird and also outside, still in the oven.
The ambient
So you get
temperature.
the ambient temperature. Exactly that, Chris. And it's revolutionized my cooking of meat. I would buy a Tesco chicken, Sainsbury's, Asda, other supermarkets available, and it would say on it to cook for a certain amount of time. But by using my meat probe, I'm cooking it probably around about 25, 30 minutes less than what the supermarkets are saying, and it's coming out perfect. I think there'll be so many people listening to this who have had a chicken for a roast and it's dry as a kangaroo's jockstrap because people have cooked it too long. They've cooked it too long because supermarkets don't want to be sued because they've undercooked it. And that wouldn't have been the supermarket's fault anyway. By having the probe, I know exactly the temperature, exactly when it's right, out it comes. And that is why this Christmas meal, the turkey, I cannot wait to do it. My family are going to be purring. Get yourself a meat probe. Everyone needs a probe in their life. 5 stars.
I'm really pleased you gave it 5 stars. I zoned out for the last 30 seconds because all I could think about was what a kangaroo's dick and balls would look like, and why that would make a jockstrap so dry. Whereas in the Australian heat, surely if they were wearing a jockstrap, it would be really wet because of the sweat.
I don't think so. I think so where do kangaroos live? Kangaroos live in the outback. Would they wear jock straps? Yes, they would, because kangaroos famously are the only animal that boxes.
Famously.
Name me another animal that boxes.
A bear.
Doesn't box, it lashes.
I watched a documentary about Hercules, the Scottish bear, last week. I don't know if you remember Hercules. It was absolutely incredible. Hercules could throw a punch.
Bears don't box. To box, you've got to throw a closed fist, and that is what kangaroos do. Bears use an open paw with claws.
I guess it was more of a wrestler, to be fair.
Thank you.
What's this got to do with a kangaroo's jockstrap being dry, though?
Well, because it's hot.
Yeah, but you sweat when it's hot.
All right. Do you want to go with Gandhi's flip-flop instead, then?
Sure. I still didn't hear the rest of what you said, though. But I did get you gave it 5 stars, right?
Yes, I did. It's 5 stars for my meat probe. You've zoned out with my meat probe. You've zoned out with electric cars.
Yeah.
It says to me
I tried my best with the electric. I had questions for you. I tried to be a good friend then. I really tried to be interested.
I'm concerned that as we review the year, the fractures between the two of us are more exposed, and mildly informed lies in peril ahead of 2026.
You chose deliberately 2 subjects that the first time you did them on the show, I reacted negatively, and you baited me by doing them both again in the same show. That's on you.
I would not rage bait you.
I mean, I think the evidence here is over the last half hour, and I'll let anyone watching or listening to this be the judge. I just want to go to the Patreon now and do something nice and not contentious like the news.
We're going to head over to the Patreon very, very shortly. I'm aware that normally you would zone out at this point because we're going to go to the Patreons, and I'm going to say goodbye to the listeners that choose to not pay for this nonsense and get extra value for it. But as we end the year, in a festive spirit, would you like to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all listeners of Mildly Informed?
I just can't tell you how much you've changed my life. And if you really, really want to help a dude at Christmas who works in the creative industries, then become a Patreon. And that is the ultimate gift that you could give this poor, sad, humble guy who's had to sit through multiple repetitions of Richie purring about his meat probe. And I promise you that if we can earn just maybe more than £83 a month from Patreon, and you can help make us genuinely turn this into a viable proposition, then Richie might not talk about his meat probe anymore, and we might get some good stuff done. I just wish you like the most joyous time with your loved ones, and I hope that when we talk together in 2026, you feel like your life is a richer and better place. Peace.
You can leave comments on the socials at Richie Firth, at Producer Chris, or of course on the YouTube channel. We're heading over to Patreon. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to one and all, and Christopher. Peace out. Off to Patreon.